Something changed on Instagram and with the whole content world. And if you've been creating content for any amount of time, you've probably already felt it. Views and the whole growth part and the whole content part on Instagram specifically got pretty unpredictable. And taking a look at over 40,000 reels, I noticed the playing field on Instagram right now is getting leveled like never before. People are blowing up who hadn't even thought about content 6 months ago. But I also found something that genuinely alarmed me. Because the things that are killing people's growth right now, most of you are doing these things on purpose because somebody told them to do them because they worked just 3 months ago, including myself. I might have told you some things that are not true anymore. So let me show you what actually shifted, because this whole thing is not the usual Instagram tweaked the algorithm again. They messed something up. Actually, no. Well, kind of, because what actually changed is how the algorithm understands and categorizes your content now. I don't think anybody's ever talked about this before, because up until recently, basically the algorithm took a look and, took a look at your content, everything that's in there, and kind of figured out the topic and what is inside, right? Matched it to an audience. I don't know how to draw an audience. And that's it. Pushed it out. So audience, topic match. Okay, understand what's in there. Image recognition. And that's it. Right? So if you have fitness content, it goes to fitness people that are interested in fitness, and doesn't matter what you basically said, it just matched similarities as well. So if some hook did well, right, a specific hook formula or even a text hook on screen, you reusing that actually upped your chances of growing because the algorithm matched that and figured out, oh yeah, I know this already did pretty well with someone with the same audience, so let me just push that out. And that's kind of been the predominant growth advice that I've seen across the board. People saying, well, find what works, copy it, and you're gonna grow. That's basically what works. Well, not anymore, because the Instagram algorithm now uses, guess what? AI to analyze your content at a way, way deeper level, because they have issues because there's so many creators coming in. And I don't mean by AI, this is the thing that it did before, just basically pattern matching. It actually takes a look, analyzes your script, what you say, your intonation even, and it basically analyzes your whole script and takes a look at, okay, what are the patterns of the script? What is the information inside the script actually? Is that something somebody else has maybe talked about before, maybe even in the very same manner? Or is it something new? Is it something different? Does it offer something, right, that's not been there before? And especially if things have like an 80% match or something. So first of all, the hook, but also parts of the content, right, in terms of uniqueness and things like that, is gonna determine and see, well, your content is basically low quality, because somebody else has already talked about that, because 1,000 other people have talked about that within the last 24 hours. And I kind of had an epiphany the other day, because I have built AI software for my mentorship for myself or for my clients, where, for example, you can put a reel inside the software and it analyzes the script, it analyzes the structure, the pattern interrupts, and everything in between. And I was like, if my software can do this, obviously Instagram's been doing this for a while. And what it's basically tracking is low effort, low quality content. They've actually been talking about this the other day, also between the lines, but things like generic language, right? Things that kind of feel like an AI wrote them. We'll get into this in a second. Or information that matches what's already out there, sometimes even word for word. So reusing the exact same hook, don't do it too many times, because Instagram's onto you. And if, let's say, your content mostly consists of these low quality sort of signals, right, that puts you into the low quality bucket right here. And once you're in there, it's kind of hard to get out, right? And it doesn't matter how good your hook is or how good your production quality is. You're just going to have a very hard time being pushed in the higher quality unique creator bucket. And here's the thing that actually set my alarm bells off pretty big time. 2 things that make you be part of this low quality bucket are things that you probably do yourself on purpose, because probably I told you to do that at some point, or somebody else. So like I said, the other day, I took a look at, well, it took more than a day, but I took a look at 40,000 reels and carousels across every performance tier. And sure enough, a pattern showed up. Almost every single account that was struggling, even creators that I said that were not struggling at all before, was guilty of doing at least one of these 2 things. First thing was copying, well, that looks like a washing machine. It should be a copy thing. Was copying top performing content. Like I said, recreating the hooks, recreating the content itself, and the ideas, basically the script in a sense. And the second thing was using AI to generate their scripts and polish their scripts in a way, their hooks, their whole creative direction. And you might be doing this right now as well. You might go to ChatGPT or Claude, the savior of the future, and you might tell them to, well, come up with some ideas, because you feel like, okay, they already know a lot about you, about your content, because they have a memory. And then you're like, yeah, give me some ideas. The problem is exactly that is what's going to get you in that low quality bucket. I actually took some of these bottom performing videos, put them into Claude myself, the scripts and things like that. And Claude was like, this is pretty good, legit content. This is top tier of the niche. And it basically started to gaslight me into thinking, well, it's pretty good. And I'm bad for even thinking that these things are not so good. Now, I actually took a look at these scripts and stuff like this myself. And sure enough, I was like, these are not good. They are generic. There's something missing right there, right? Nothing to grab onto, nothing that makes you remember this creator that you just looked at. Because, and let's be honest here for a bit, if you were to put, let's say, your last 3 videos next to each other with a lot of them in your niche, would they stand out, right? Would they be any different from somebody else's content? Probably not. And that's exactly what I saw. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you might have heard me talk about the originality meltdown. That's what I called it. Basically, everything just being a copycat. And honestly, it's gotten way worse, this whole thing, way faster than I expected. With that being said, looking at my data, there's actually 3 forces underneath this that makes your content just not get pushed out by the algorithm because of this whole low quality flag. The first one being, obviously, the algorithm. We talked about this already. If you're being generic, you're done. And that's already a big problem on its own, if you think about it. But as we know, a triangle has 3 sides. So buckle up. Because the second one is actually your viewer, your audience, which should be the most important person in your life if you want to make it. And what I have seen is, and I did a lot of, first of all, in my mentorship, in my mastermind sessions, we have some discussions about this every once in a while. But it seems like people have developed what I call a 6th sense for AI-generated content. Not just for purely AI-generated stuff, but even scripts that a real person presents, basically, but that were created by AI. And sometimes people can't even explain why something feels off. They just feel like there's the lifeblood missing, personality missing. It's like uncanny valley, but for scripts in a way. Now, the third part here is actually the one that kept me up yesterday. This is why I had to make this video. And I'm sure it's not the coffee that I drank, the very big one at the evening. But this one's not about the algorithm or about the production quality or any of these things. It's about how people start to use social media and content nowadays. And this is honestly what's going to have us be in a very big predicament in the next year. Maybe less than that. Who knows? Because right now, if somebody wants to know how to lose weight, for example, or how to grow on Instagram, right? The first thing they do, they're not opening Instagram anymore first, or whatever platform they use to figure this out. They're opening ChatGPT or any other LLM. I'm sure you do it too, because you can get answers way faster, already kind of tailored to your specific situation, because after all, ChatGPT knows you in a way. So naturally, by the time they come to Instagram to watch content, they already got 90% of the information they wanted to have, right? So they're one step ahead in a way. And obviously, they're going to scroll past generic crappy content or 5 tips to lose weight because they already know a lot more about these things because the AI explained it way better than a 60-second reel ever could, tailored to their specific situation. So what does that mean for you being a content creator? First of all, you've got to stop copying your niche. It's good to take inspiration to understand, like what I always call the groove of the platform, the groove of your niche, to know what topics and generally what works. But then you need to take a look at what are the things that you could bring to the table that nobody does there, right? Something that's unique to you. So you want to stop using the same exact hooks, the same exact even topics and the content itself, right? The same regurgitated things. That is the old playbook. that used to work up until 3 months ago, right? But that's exactly what's getting you buried right now. Instead, you want to mix this whole thing with something that's totally outside your niche. Could be from adjacent niches, so sideways. So, for example, if you're in the knitting space, you just go one layer outwards and you take a look at the DIY things. But honestly, the most powerful move you can make is take a look at totally outside your niche, something that has nothing to do, and try to understand what I call the content DNA, right? The building blocks of these viral or top performing or just interesting reels that you see totally outside your niche. So you take a look, for example, okay, this is the hook of something that has nothing to do with you. The hook is composed of a statement that is contrary. For example, stuff like this. Then after the hook, the person does a showcase of a whatever it is, right? You get the idea. Basically, take a look. What are the building blocks? What are the formats? What are the structures? Even the energy that you feel or something from a totally, completely opposite world that has nothing to do with your world. And then you take it and bring it over into yours. So let me show you what that actually means. And it's an example that I talked about recently in one of my workshops, one of my free life workshops. I do them every once in a while. So if you want to be part of one of these free life workshops, get on the Creator Club newsletter. I actually sent you weekly strategies and other awesome things in there as well. But here's an example. One of my clients, Simon, he's in the fitness niche, right? A very, very crowded niche. Almost the most crowded niche, honestly, if I would say. And a few months ago, he was struggling, obviously, to get anything working. That was when I first started to notice that there's something weird, right? And he was basically doing everything the playbook tells you to do, right? If we go back, he was taking a look at the top performers in his niche, the outliers, and he was trying to recreate them in some shape or form, even in a very good, honestly, pretty good what he did. At a first glance, pretty solid. Kind of what I always talk about, what you should do. Here's an example. Let's take a look at this one, for example.
Carbs don't make you fat. Overeating does. This whole loaf of bread has 1,200 calories. And half a jar of peanut butter has also 1,200 calories.
Right? So there's different scenes, there's pattern interrupts, he's using props and things like that. Things that I always talk about that work. He even challenges kind of a common belief. So basically things that you're supposed to do right now, right? Things that according to the playbook. But here's what's up. If I look at it, obviously there's just something feels off, right? You probably notice this as well. There's just one ingredient missing because anyone in the fitness space has heard the exact same thing a million times. Their brain probably doesn't even register it. Just noise at this point. So there's no need to even watch this because, and that's sort of the point that kind of ties this whole thing together, nobody cares about him. Nobody knows about him yet. Nobody trusts him. Right? So what he says inherently has way less value than a ChatGPT output, right? Because people trust ChatGPT a lot or Claude. Now, if you remember the triangle from before, all these forces have in common is exactly that one thing, trust. The algorithm can't find it if your content looks like everyone else's. Your viewer can't feel it if AI sounds like it wrote it. And ChatGPT obviously can't give him a reason to come back to you specifically. Because yeah, that is the one thing it can't replace. And that's what the algorithm saw. It categorized this as low quality content because it recognized, okay, this is probably AI generated even, and there's just some things in there. So the whole piece of the pie is complete low quality content. 1,000 other reels within the past 24 hours talked about the exact same thing. There's no special extra take that was there, nothing different, no signal from other people that suggest, oh, there's something, people trust him. Nope, buried. Right? There's nothing there. And this is happening on a big scale right now. I'm not just saying this. I've recently talked about this on my Instagram stories. And a lot of people have actually replied to me saying, the second they stopped using ChatGPT or Claude or any AI in the creation process to come up with scripts and things like that was when they started to get more traction again. Now, spoiler alert, Simon did figure it out and did it exactly the way we said. He added something. He took a look at things outside his niche, and he dared to be different in a way and not be formulaic. We can only recreate what others have done before. because AI, you get the spiel. So here's what he did. Here's an example of one of the videos he did that blew up like crazy, 17.5 million views. I don't know if I've showed it before. Maybe I have, but it's just too good not to show because he's showing that he's an actual real person with some real ideas. Who would have thought that, right? So let's take a look.
Take a cucumber.
Mine is a bit smaller.
Slice the whole thing into a tub.
Add
2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt.
Right? So you get the idea. He's basically reacting to something, but in a totally different way. Almost nobody's ever done this before in his niche, at least. And you can see totally different feel, right? Mine's a bit smaller. The humor just itself, right? AI would have totally sucked the lifeblood out of it. Would have said, well, this is a weird talk about yours being smaller. Cut this out, right? It's not there. And that's what AI is trying to do all the time, suck the lifeblood out of it. So what happened was actually the algorithm could not pattern match this whole thing against any other fitness creators. And he blew up, grew to 200-something thousand followers within a few months, and people started to trust him. And suddenly he could talk about some things that he could have not done before. Now, with that being said, there is a part to this that is actually harder than it sounds. And I don't want to sugarcoat it, but it's actually finding your specific either outside the niche move or one thing that fits you or multiple things that actually fits you, right? That fits your audience that you can actually pull off that makes you unique and stand out. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to use ChatGPT for that and things like that. Basically, allow yourself to be different. Allow yourself to be yourself. Actually, I'm actually going to make a bunch of content about exactly how to do this in these weird times that we're in. But let me leave you with this. Everything that I show you today, the whole algorithm change, the killers get banned, by the way. The whole AI ranked down and the originality collapse. It is kind of shocking, and it's still shocking to me, but it's actually not really a reason to panic. Because if anything, it's a reason for you to start moving right now. Because at this very moment, the playing field is getting leveled. People are blowing up that haven't even thought about content creation 5 months ago. And again, I don't want to sound alarmist, but I really don't have any idea how much longer this whole window stays open. But I know for sure it is going to close. Whether that's in 3 months or 2 years, who knows? But eventually, people, as always, are going to catch up, and the whole space, the content creator space floods, and the only ones left standing are the ones who already built real trust with a real audience. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible, but it's just going to be 1,000 times harder, I can tell you that. Now, if you want to know a full-on A to Z strategy to move forward the right way going right now, take a look at this video right here, and I'll give you a full step-by-step roadmap to get ahead of the curve right now.